Okay, team, we do this together. We're gonna take out the bad guy, because if we don't, he's gonna come back in the next movie as the good guy.
We're with you, Dom.
We're gonna do it together as a family. Guys, they got a tank. It's okay, brother. I'll destroy that tank with my bare hands. And my car. Yeah, boy! Oh no, now they've got a helicopter. We've got to get away, Dom.
Hey! It must be movie review time.
They are going to be hitting us with everything they got.
Oh, damn!
I chose you for this squad because you are the most fearsome warriors on the planet. You do your job and you take them down. Now saddle up and save the entire damn world.
Fire!
Let me get my selfie levels up.
You realize this is classified, right?
Not today.
Rated PG-13.
Hey OCPers, so Colski here. We're going to do my very spoiler-rich review of Fate of the Furious, or Fast and the Furious 8, or F8, or 2 Fast 2 8, or I don't know, call it what you want, but there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so if you haven't seen it, and you still do want to see it and don't want to know, obviously then don't watch this, or if you have seen it, or you don't want to see it and don't really care or whatever, then please continue on. So if you haven't figured out by the Fate F8 Fast and the Furious 8 thing, this is obviously the 8th Fast and Furious movie. Are we, kicking a dead horse or milking a dead cow, whatever the analogy is there. But this is the 8th movie in the series, directed by F.Gary Gray, who did Straight Outta Compton, which was a great film, and he did a really good job of that. So, I mean, I wasn't overly disappointed when I heard that he was doing this film, and to be honest, he hasn't actually done that bad a job. I mean, the direction and the look of this film is actually really nice. I mean, this film had a $250 million budget. Now think about that for a second. Something like recent Kong Skull Island, giant ape and giant monsters, fighting on a giant island and things like that, only had a budget of, was it $190 million or something like that? $250 million Fate of the Furious had. But I can tell you could see this on screen. The action sequences and that in this film are mesmerizing. I mean, there is so much going on. The action sequences are so big and so bold, and it's like completely over top to the point. I mean, you basically can see money burning on the screen, just piles of money driving around the streets and catching on fire and exploding. I mean, it looks that flat out. But like I said, really great action to this film. The chase sequences and action sequences are like kick-ass awesome. But unfortunately, that's pretty much where this movie ends, because other than that, it is very shallow, very predictable, same shit, different day. So, we've seen it all before in all the Fast and Furious movies, just the same but different, different but the same. So, I mean, we'll start off at for the start of the film. I mean, the opening sequence, which finds Dom in Cuba, and taking place in a street race in Cuba, because a cousin that you apparently didn't even know he had gets into trouble with some dude in his fast car, and blah, 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 blah. And, of course, Dom ends up kicking this guy's ass in a piece of crap, because it's not what you drive, it's how you drive, and blah, 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 as the shit that Dom tends to spit out. But then, big twist of the story, the bad guy comes in, who's played by Charlize Theron, and shows him something on a phone, which ultimately turns Dom into the bad guy. I mean, we've all seen the trailer, so we all knew this was happening, and let's face it, there's been that many Fast and Furious movies, where else could the series go, seriously? But yeah, so, I mean, already off to a start, at the start of the film, it's already on, left a sour taste in my mouth anyway. So we're going to go on to, so like I said, spoilers, please don't watch. So the thing that turns Dom bad is Cypher, played by Charlize Theron, shows him a phone and then shows him that she's captured Elena, who's the girl he was with in Fast 6, I think it was, when he was in Brazil, the one that's actually a cop and works with Hobbs and all of that. He had a relationship with her for a little while before he found out Letty was still alive in Fast 6, I think it was. And yeah, and then she ended up working with Hobbs and they got separated or whatever else. And now Elena has a baby that is apparently Dom's. Now, besides the fact that in the movie this baby looks probably only about a year old, give or take, and this is revealed in Fast 8 when he hasn't been with her since Fast 5, I think it was. Now, I know, you know, in the movie universe this could take place over a small period of time, but you can even tell between Fast 5 and Fast 8 that at least a few years have probably gone past. And Dom hasn't been with Elena for quite a few years. He's been with back with Letty now for at least a couple of years, yet he has a child that's about 1 year old. I don't know about you, but the math for me kind of doesn't add up, and I think Elena was full of shit, because I don't think that was his baby daddy. So I'm not sure what was going on there. So that kind of, that was another thing that set me back. It wasn't right. The time frames didn't add up. I thought that was a really poor plot point. And then not to mention that, you know, it's said in the movie that the baby doesn't have a first name because she wanted her daddy to give the baby his first name. And from that point on, you can see where this is going already. That, you know, obviously his relationship with Paul Walker and then Brian not being in the movie, which Brian and Mia are mentioned, which was kind of cool. So they just haven't wiped them out completely. Their names were mentioned, that the fact that they still are within that universe, they're there. They're just not part of the story anymore. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, other than that, it was all very predictable and very shallow, and again, not really thought through. That was pretty bad. The next thing I want to get on to is, so in this one, the good guy's gone bad. Dom's gone bad. So what do you do to combat the good guy who's become a bad guy? Well, apparently you get the bad guy to become the good guy. So this time they're getting Jason Statham, who was the bad guy in the last movie, Deckard Shaw, the brother of Owen Shaw, who was the bad guy in Fast 6. And then Hobbs was actually the bad guy of Fast 5, technically. So now you got the bad guys with the good guys chasing the good guy who's now the bad guy. To the point they bring in Owen Shaw, who's now out of his coma and helping Dom save his baby at the end of this movie. So, I mean, yeah, you got the good guy becomes the bad guy, so the bad guys become the good guys, but then the good bad guy becomes the good guy again, and the bad guys continue to be good guy. Oh my God, this is terrible. Terrible. It was almost like it's as predictable as you wake up into a dream sequence, or the strange guy is my brother kind of scenarios in movies. Come on, guys. Come on. I think it's time to end this series because I really think you're running out of ideas. And at the end of this movie, Dom and Deckard Shaw become friends. Yeah, shake hands. Thanks for saving my baby. Yes, okay, he saved his 1-year-old son. But he killed Han, who we considered to be family. He put a bomb outside Dom's house, which nearly killed Dom, Mia, Brian, and Brian's child, which is, you know, Dom's niece, nephew, whatever the friggin' hell it was. And, you know, nearly killed him, but nearly killed Hobbs, nearly killed Elena. But that's okay. You saved my 1-year-old. Everything's cool. We're friends now. Shake hands and shit. All is forgotten now. Come on. Seriously. I know I wouldn't even do that. Yeah, you saved my 1-year-old son, so I'll cut you some slack for that, but you're still a prick. So, again, come on. That's just, it was so unbelievable. And look, everyone else in this movie, you know, the rest of Dom's team, it's just the same shit, the same jokes, just all over again. It was nothing really new here. Scott Eastwood is introduced as part of the CIA or special team that hires the rest of Dom's team to track Dom down and all of that, which, I don't know, it kind of makes me think that is he going to be the replacement for Paul Walker and Brian's character within the series? Because he's there at the end, he's round the table as you would all expect at the end of the film. Although they give him shit through the entire movie for being who he is, yeah, I don't know. I can see it being going the way that I think he'll become a series regular for at least apparently the next 2 films or last 2 films, whatever it is. And of course, Cypher, the bad guy, conveniently escapes at the end of the film, obviously, so she can come back for a sequel because, you know, they like tying this one in, has a relation to the last one, which has a relation to the one before that. So at least now the next one will have a relation to this one and so on. And as it goes on, yeah, I think I've rounded on long enough. This was really stupid. It was over the top. The ending was over the top. I mean, yes, you expect that from the Fast and Furious movie, but stupidly so. Yeah, wasn't a big fan of this. I mean, yeah, as an action movie, it looked awesome and, you know, lots of explosions and intense chase sequences and all of that, but hey, there's got to be more to an action movie than that, and unfortunately, Fate of the Furious fails in this area. So, I'm going to give Fate of the Furious a 5.5 out of 10 stereo-induced exploding car, good guy, jazzers. And to be honest, I only give it the 5.5 because of the outlandish, over-the-top action sequences and all of that, which obviously you go to the cinema to see. But other than that, this was pretty lame. So, not happy being a fan of the others. Yeah, this is very disappointing. But anyway, this is Colski out. You're on OCP.